Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube Wellington, welcome. It is your boy, MeLlamoCeeGee, with another Puti review of the first three episodes of Moonknight. And along with me, I got my good fellow friend here, LuNievesJr. Okay?
Hola.
All of our social medias and all that good stuff will be down in the description below. Make sure you check it out after you finish watching the video. Yararami. So far we're halfway through the season of Moon Knight, my second favorite Marvel character. So I'm enjoying everything. Lou, on the other hand, as you can see on his face, he's very confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He's lost in the sauce for the most part. Is he enjoying it? Sure. But we're going to talk about it in detail. So I guess we'll go episode for episode. What do you think? Episode one,
Sure. I mean, they're all lengthy episodes, put it like that.
which I like.
First episode's about under 50 minutes, and then the next two are over 50. I think they're
Right.
53 each.
Right. So they're giving us a lot of content to skim through. So we'll start with episode one. I know episode one you were probably, am I lagging?
No, your audio went out. I'm sorry.
Did it? Oh, I'll edit that out.
You're good now.
Episode one, okay. First episode was probably the one you were the most lost in. Am I correct in saying this?
Yeah, I will say for me, so when I heard about Moon Knight when it was first released, I know Chris was very excited, and I don't know the character, so I had to do my homework, look up who this character is, and finding out that it's a unusual type of character with multiple personalities. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. The costume looks fire. I love everything that represents this character. And then I start thinking, how does this pertain to the MCU? And I try to like ignore that for a second and just accept the character for what it is. And in the first episode, they don't really give you too much of a story. They're giving you the perspective of Steven, one of the personalities, and Oscar Isaac is killing it with the accent and everything that's going on. What bothered me, I guess, in episode one was whenever he will, I guess, in the
Switch
show, he's giving up
personalities.
his body, the personality to Mark, which is the second personality in the show. We don't see what Mark does. It's literally something happens, and then we come back to Steven, and it's like Steven is confused, like, oh my God, what am I doing? And that was bothering me because I wanted to see what happened. But I guess this was a reason why, so it could give you the perspective of someone else is doing something here. It's not him.
So my question to you.
Yeah.
Are you sure he was turning into Mark?
You see, when you ask questions like that, then I start to second guess myself, and I'm like, I don't know now, because I know in the comic books there are three characters, if I'm not mistaken.
It's more, but three main.
Yeah, in the third episode they tease that, right? But in the first episode, you're only introduced to the second character, and I was like, this is fire. I like it. CGI is a little off, being that it's Marvel and Disney. There should be more money dipped into it to, fix that lack of CGI effect. But overall, I was intrigued, and I'm like, okay, let's keep going with the story. I can't wait for the second episode. And that was just me on the first episode. A little bit confusion, but interested.
So the first episode to me, it was kind of crazy that they went with starting off with Steven, because the main personality in the comics is always Mark. For the majority of the time, it's Mark is the main person controlling the body. It's his body, all that good stuff. So the fact that they went with Steven, and not only with Steven, but overseas, they're in they started off in London, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or whatever. He worked at a gift shop, all that stuff. And Steven, another thing they changed, Steven is usually the guy, like the detective of the three main personalities. He's the behind the scenes. I mean, he's gonna look stuff up, find certain things out, do this, do that. They're kind of hinting at it each episode that he's smarter than he was, than he came off in the first episode. Because the first episode he was very scared. I don't know what to do. I can't fight. I can't do this. Which I'm okay with. I like that iteration, like changing up certain things about the character. And the whole switching off, I think the more episodes that I'm seeing right now, it's
Mhm.
explaining certain characteristics, certain things that weren't clear in the first watch of the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Um, Granted, yes, the CGI looked terrible in especially that one scene. The only one scene it really looked terrible
The
to
chase
me.
the car chase. Yeah.
Right. Everything else didn't really bother me. I mean, it's werewolves, all that good stuff. Mind you, sorry, I didn't mention it before. Spoilers. We're gonna talk
Definitely
about
spoilers
everything.
because that was three,
Right.
almost 4 weeks ago. So
Yeah, we're talking about it. Okay,
yeah.
you can't avoid it at this point.
Hmm.
If you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching it. I think it's they make it clear in the first episode they're not really connecting this. I mean, it's connected to the MCU, the greater MCU, but it
Mm.
feels like its own story
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
nothing going into anything else. Like it's just straight up, hey, we're introducing you to a character that's not that well known. Yes, he
Hmm.
has a fan base. I'm one of those people,
Hmm.
but nobody really knows this guy at all.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
there are possibilities of other characters in the future because
Yes.
of the comic books, but as of right
Yes.
now, it's standalone. Yeah.
So I like that they're doing that. It's not where they're usually at. They're not in America.
Hmm.
Everything so far in besides maybe
Except
what
for Eternals
Eternal Shang-Chi
and
2 was a
Shang-Chi.
little bit different.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. But like I like how so far they've kind of balanced it out with getting away from America a little bit and pushing things elsewhere, showing that yo, stuff goes on everywhere. It's not just New
Hmm.
York and California and all that extra stuff. So I like that. I think they introduced the character well in the first episode. The cliffhanger that they give at the end, where he figured out who the hell is this person? Why is somebody calling me a different name? And
Hmm.
he's realizing he's in the first episode. He Oscar did a great job of um showing us he thinks he's crazy. He's losing his
Yeah.
mind. So
Hmm.
you're at he looked more confused than you did watching the episode. Like he genuinely seemed confused as to why stuff was going on, why he's seeing Khonshu, the Egyptian god, and they let us know in the first episode because he worked at that gift shop. He knows a lot about Egyptian mythology, which is
Yeah.
a lot of what's in the show in general, right?
Hmm.
So overall, solid start. First episode. Second epi. Go ahead, Lou. Take it away.
So the second episode, we get introduced to Mark's wife. She bumps into Steven after he loses his job, so to speak, based off what happened in the first episode. And Steven doesn't know who this woman is. He's running out after he was being kind of chased by Kangchu in this like warehouse of like a storage warehouse, and he runs into Mark's wife. Now there's a confusion because she knows that there's something going on and she hasn't seen him in some time, and we get a little bit of backstory of who she is to Mark and what she knows about Mark. So her her conversation with Steven gives us a little bit of a backstory of who Mark is before we actually get to meet Mark fully, right?
Yep.
And I thought that was interesting. I thought the second episode was better than the first episode. We then meet, get to see where, because we didn't talk about the villain in the first episode, which is
Oh yeah,
Ethan
you're right.
Hawke's character, Harold, and he is, I want to say, another avatar for
Did you wait? Hold
Timid.
on. Did you just say Harold?
Harold, right? Or
No,
can
Arthur
you tell me?
Harrow. Harrow.
Harrow. I'm sorry, Arthur Harrow.
I'm like, wait, Harold. That doesn't
Harrow.
sound
I
right.
thought it was for whatever. I'm sorry. So edit that out. Not Harold. Arthur Harrow.
There you go. There you go.
Um, good catch there, Chris. So Ethan Hawke's character is pretty cool. I like his introduction too. We didn't talk about it much, but you see him break up glass, put it in his slippers. Every time he walks, you hear him stepping on
A little
broken glass.
crunch. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird, and they didn't really get too much of explaining to that. But he's not an avatar, but he's trying to save another Egyptian god that was, I want to say, forgotten about or like in prison, so to speak.
In prison.
Timid. Yeah, Timid. Am I saying this wrong?
Amit.
Emmett?
Amit.
Amit. Yeah, you see, I don't know these names. Chris knows everything. But we get to see a little bit of where he is and his followers are.
Right, because he's
When
basically a cult leader.
Yeah, exactly. So Steven is there, they're having a conversation. He wants this piece
Scarab.
of
Scarab. It's a golden
scarab.
scarab.
Yeah, it's a piece of artifact from Egypt that's gonna give the navigation to this other Egyptian god that Arthur is trying to help release. And it was pretty cool because now you get to see a different side of Moon Knight where he's wearing the suit. Now, from what I saw in the comic books, was completely different from what the iteration we saw in the show. Because in the comic books, that suit looking Moon Knight character is kind of badass, right? It's like, but this guy is like, Steven is not a badass. So the suit doesn't really fit him, so to speak. And he's getting his ass whooped, but the suit looks fire, bro. And I was
So
like, yo, I don't know which suit is better.
there's
But
two
it's
different
fire.
there's two different suits. There's the regular Moon Knight suit, and the
Yeah,
suit
which
that
is sick.
Steven has is the Mr. Knight suit.
Yeah,
So he's also like, that scene is so funny to me,
it is.
where
He does the superhero landing too.
everybody's saying that he's saying Wagwan when he punches.
Oh,
He's like,
God.
Wagwan, I did it. But it's funny seeing him switch up where he finally got like a little bit of confidence, and he's
Yeah.
trying to be like a boxer, and he's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I got it.
Yeah.
But he's not a badass. In the comics, like I said, he's more of the detective badass kind of feel to him.
Mm.
So them switching it up, I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people are
Yeah.
upset, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't want it
I
to
think it fits
feel
what the show is going for.
right. And you don't want people comparing him, because there was already comparisons to the whole Batman thing. You don't want them comparing him.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he
I am
did Batman-esque things off rip, it's like, all right, there's no room for character development, because now he's already
Yeah.
who he's supposed
He's
to be.
already, yeah.
But this is just an introduction to the character as a whole, for one. Two, the character himself is being introduced to certain things. He's been living a regular life according to, you know, the show. He's been living a regular life, has a regular job, all this extra stuff, calls his mom, does all that stupid stuff. So it's like, you can't be too mad at what they're trying to do, and I like the way they're executing it in the show, you know. So episode 2, you're right, episode 2 was better than episode 1 to me. I liked it a little bit more, especially because they got into some action. Because like the first episode, there was action, but it wasn't really action. Right. It was like blank out. But this is where episode 3 comes into it, right? This is what I'm saying. Are you sure that he was turning into Mark the whole time? Because now, episode 3, majority of the time, he's Mark, right?
Episode 3, yeah.
He's Mark majority of the episode. And
because of the end of episode 2,
right?
You know, I don't want you
With
to
the whole
things.
So the end, right? The end of episode 2, he kills the werewolf, and then Mark pretty much takes the body. He's like, "Yo, I got to do what I got to do. I'm sorry," and sends Steven into, I guess you could say, a mirror dimension with this character, because that's where his other personalities lie, and he's just like, talking to himself pretty much. Nobody else can see it but him. Now, episode 3, he's Mark majority of the episode. I think he switched to Steven a couple times, and that scene alone was hilarious to me, where they're fighting, and he's like, Steven's like, "No, don't do it, don't kill him," and he turns the thing, and he's stabbed in the chest like 5 times.
Yeah, he's like, "Take it back, take the body back."
He's like, "Yo, take the body, I don't want it no more." And you know,
it was like, "Time out, guys," and then just stabbing. He was like, "Okay."
And I think episode 3 was a great episode for developing Khonshu as a character, as a separate character. Because as of right now, Khonshu, the first 2 episodes, Khonshu was just kind of, "Hey, I'm the one that's running the show. I'm the Egyptian god. I need you to do this for me. You're my avatar," kind of thing. And he's always been making fun of Steven. He hated Steven. He thinks he's a bozo kind of thing. But in this 3rd episode, it showed the development not only of Steven, but of Khonshu, kind of like accepting the other personality of Mark. Like, "Yo, I need your help though. I can't do it alone." That one scene at the end, it looked beautiful.
When he starts to read the hieroglyphics and
Yes.
understanding pretty much,
And that's why the first episode kind of pissed me off a little bit more, because it's like, damn, why couldn't you guys use this CGI for the whole thing? Like, the CGI looked amazing at that part.
Each episode has gotten better and better.
Right.
That's the best part about this series.
That's why I can't wait for the next 3, because unfortunately we only have 3 more episodes. I hope they
Yeah,
keep
6
them.
total.
I hope they keep them the same length. That
They should. Yeah,
that 50
53
minute
minutes.
that 50
Yeah.
minute time works perfectly
Mhm.
for everything that goes on with this character. And
Yeah.
I know one thing that bothered you in this episode.
And what's that?
I see you're smiling because you posted about it. You tweeted it actually.
Yeah.
The part where all
They go for judgment.
the Egyptian gods
Mhm.
come in and they have basically like a court session. Right? That's what you would call it, right? Like
Well,
a
yeah.
court. It was like a
Khonshu gets the attention of the Egyptian guys to do uh pretty much a judgment of
right.
Arthur, and he's like, oh, he's bringing out the
Ahmed.
other guy,
Ahmed.
Ahmed, and he's like, are you? He's like, no. All right, then we're done. And I was like, what? Like, you're not gonna do like an investigation? You're not gonna
Right.
like, what is going on? You're just gonna take his word for it? He's killing people. We're like, no, I'm not. How can you say that? And it's like,
See,
what the fuck is going on?
I'm interested though because Arthur Harrow's character, okay, they changed it up a lot. For one, Ethan Hawke is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to watch.
Like the acting in this show so far to me has been some of the best that we've seen in the MCU.
Yeah.
Oscar killing it, Ethan killing it. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, but those two, like for sure, are smoking it. They're going crazy.
So much fun to watch. Yeah.
And one, I think some of the Egyptian gods that were there are in on it. I think they're helping Arthur because where is he getting his power from? He hasn't found her,
staff,
but he hasn't found her. You know what I'm saying? He's tapping into her power set without having. He's not like an avatar for her. He's not any of that.
No, yeah.
So who is he getting this power from? Where he's be able to take people's lives with a tattoo?
Yeah,
nobody knows.
They pretty much give judgment to other individuals.
Like,
well.
You're gonna do something bad in the future. Oh, they're dead. Bye. And they suck the life out of them. They become a raisin. So where is he getting his power from? I feel like he's getting his power from one of them. Not only that, after the whole judgment scene happens, he somehow ends up back at that area with one of the Egyptian gods, avatars, obviously. So it's like, how the hell did he even get there? Because everybody else, when they got there, they were all summoned into the pyramid because they were inside a pyramid.
Yeah,
you know, they got summoned.
What pyramid it was.
Me too.
Yeah,
but they got summoned into the pyramid through like little portals. Shout out to TVA. No, let me stop. You know, they got summoned through these little portals, and everybody walked in. Yada yada yada. So it's like, how did you get there without summoning a portal? One. And why is this guy so buddy with you? You know, and they also mentioned in the third episode that he was the avatar for Khonshu before Mark.
He said in episode 2, yeah.
They mentioned that he was the avatar, so he knows a lot more than they're giving off right now. And he had connections with these Egyptian gods already. Yeah. So I'm curious.
I want to know how he got out of that.
Right. Well, I think they pretty much have like contracts. Like, you know how basically
you have to fulfill something.
Right. Like basically the whole situation with Mark and Khonshu is, oh, you do this for me, I'll let you go, but I'm gonna take your girlfriend. Pretty much. Like he said, I'm gonna take your wife and she's gonna be my next avatar. So I think they could just switch willingly from avatar to avatar if they please. You know what I'm saying? As they please. Now, I have a theory.
Okay.
I do have a theory. My theory is I don't think any of this is actually happening.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say is King the Conqueror involved somehow?
No. It's not that far fetched. It has to do with the mental health aspect. I think
is this another Joker movie?
Similar. Where but it's part of a comic series.
Okay. So
and I saw something. I saw a frame, a picture of said place. I can't explain it to you because I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't want to give it away. We haven't got to that yet. This is just a theory.
Okay.
But think it's very possible that all this is happening in his head still. Because you got to remember, this whole thing is based off of a mental health disorder. You know, he got disassociation. I forgot what it's called. It's DID. So Mark, like, I don't know if you noticed, but it's great. The acting is so great when it comes to this. Where when he turns into Steven, how he acts with the wife, with Layla, right?
Layla, yeah.
Hey, do you see the way Steven acts with Layla? Like, he has a crush on her. Like, he's like, oh, all googly eyed and like, oh yeah, it's awesome, right? Like, he gets like the soft voice.
I think he's just friendly. I don't know if he has a thing for her.
Nah, bro. You got the look in his eyes, bro. He loves her, bro. So you got to think about it. They're still the same person. It's not like it's three different.
I get it.
Like,
I get it.
You know, like, I think, especially with the whole multiverse stuff happening at the same time,
yeah,
I think a lot of people are assuming these are different people in different universes, kind of like meshed into one, but it's not. This is all the same person.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Right? This is, you got to understand, this is all the same person. It's not a different person. Everybody's Mark, pretty much. But he's created in his head different alter egos for different situations. So that's why, to me, I feel like Steven has like this school kid crush on Layla still, because he's like, yo, I can't divorce you. I can't do that. You're beautiful. Because deep down inside, that part, he actually loves her.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I love that they're tapping into that. I can't wait to meet the third personality if they go with it. It's
I think
very possible. I know,
because in the beginning of episode 3, he's like, "Oh, I didn't do some of these things." And
right.
He's like, well, I didn't.
And that's
do
why
it.
I'm
like,
saying.
Mark and Steven are fighting with each
that's
other.
why I'm saying. Are you sure that Steve? That's why I asked. Are you sure Steven is turning into Mark? Because Mark doesn't kill either. Every fight that he got into, he wasn't trying to kill anybody. He kept holding back. He was like, "Yo, chill." Like, he's a kid.
Well, like he slapped a kid. Yeah.
Right. He's like, "Yo, he's a kid." You know.
Yeah.
Like
even when he said hold him towards the edge, right? Right. Khonshu tells him,
like, unless
no.
unless Mark has to kill, he doesn't.
I don't think he does it willingly.
Right. He doesn't. Like this episode, he killed a lot. I mean, he was smoking all these guys on the horses and with
oh yeah.
When he has to kill, he'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
The suit is fire. I didn't know half the things that were on the suit, like the bulletproof cape and all that shit.
It's awesome. So it's dope. And he has a healing factor when the suit's on. They mentioned that Khonshu, gives him healing powers when he's wrapped in the cloth. Okay. Which is why he was able to take all those things to the chest. He had like 5 of them on his body.
Like long, big ass ears.
So, but it happened like what, 3 times in this episode that he turned into somebody else and was completely lost. But every time they turn into that person, there's blood everywhere. There's always blood. Like, yo, what happened? And that personality is the one that's gonna, I believe his name is Jake.
And who is Jake, Christopher?
It's the other personality.
State Farm?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So,
but what is Jake's characteristics?
I don't know. They might change it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're gonna go with.
I want to know who he is in the comic books. What is Jake, bro?
That's the confusing part. So Jake,
wow, even the guy who's a fan of Moonknight doesn't even know who Jake is.
No, that's the thing. I don't know what they're going to go with. I know who Jake is.
I don't care what they're going to go with. What does he do in the comics?
He's the violent one, man.
Okay.
He's a psycho. He's a psychopath.
Okay.
He's the one that, he doesn't care. He doesn't have like, how Mark has a conscience. Yeah, he's a mercenary, but he's very, he's aware of what's going on. Jake don't care about none of that. Yeah. Jake doesn't care about none of that. He's a gangster.
Well, it's interesting because in a lot of the scenes where they're looking into a mirror, there are 3 mirrors, and that would introduce the third personality.
Right.
And you notice that straight from the first episode when he's looking into the mirror in his bathroom. And even when there's broken mirrors, there's like 3 different cuts, and all these.
I like that symbolism though.
In all those scenes, because this is beautifully shot. And all those scenes, and the music's amazing, by the way, if we didn't get to that. There's always 3 types of mirrors there, man. Even in the first episode, at the end, when Mark is like, give me the body, and you see the hieroglyphics in the bathroom, and it's like, There's a mirror in front of him. There's a mirror to the side and a mirror to the other side. There's 3 mirrors. And the way whoever does this editing is amazing. And I'm noticing this
It's so
where
dope.
in the shot you see the foreshadow of Steven, but in the mirror you see Mark. While Mark is moving differently, Steven is not moving at all. And it's
Right.
like, yo,
It's
that
crazy.
is fucking sick, bro. They do such a great job. And you've never seen this in any MCU before.
And it throws you off when you see a mirror and nothing else happens. Because like now I'm expecting anytime there's a mirror in the scene, oh, something's switching, something's going crazy.
But it's even better when he looks at the gun. Anything with a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in episode 2, he looks at the gun and you see a little bit of Mark's face on there. It's like, give me the body. You don't know what you're doing with that. You know?
A window, a knife, anything. They can literally, anything that has a reflection. It's crazy. And I think that has to do with the whole moon thing too. Because, you know, the moon is just reflecting off the sun. It's so, I love the symbolism. I love it.
So at the ending of episode 3, right? Khonshu brings the stars to where it was 25,000 years ago, something like that, 2,500 years ago.
That scene was beautiful.
Now you see like pretty much the stars moving backwards. There's some theories out there that they go back in time.
No, they didn't go back. I mean, you got to think about it. They even showed the people in the present day time looking at it like, yo, what the hell? You're telling me he brought everybody with him back in time? There's no way.
Hey, I'm just telling you what the theories are on Twitter.
I get the theories though, but there's no way. He just put the stars.
Kang the Conqueror comes up.
He puts the stars back in time, not the whole world, just the stars, so they can find the body.
Kang? Where's Kang?
Kang's in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's that's where you'll see him.
He's looking jacked for Creed 3. Just saying. I've seen those.
I did. I have.
Guys.
If anything, I think we have a better chance of seeing Blade in this than anybody else. I do. I honestly, truly believe, especially with the whole werewolf stuff, I believe that we have a higher chance of seeing Blade in this than we do of seeing anybody else.
And why will we see Blade, Christopher?
Because Blade's in that area, one. Well, he's not in Egypt. They're in Egypt right now.
Yeah, they're in Cairo, actually, I think.
But Blade he's all over the place over there. You know what I'm saying? He already showed up in one instance. You know what I'm saying? So, and the storylines they're going with, you know, werewolves. Who says there can't be vampires in this situation? Says they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? We don't know.
You see, the thing is, outside of this show, which is I think is getting better and better with each episode, anyone outside not interested in who this character is or don't have any idea who this character is, they're not gonna like this show, even with the first 3 episodes.
Or they might like
seeing people very confused, not interested. And it's probably because there's not enough backstory from the beginning.
Now that's my only thing though.
It doesn't introduce the character very well.
I want to see how they tie it all together because you know it's coming.
Oh yeah,
you know there's a tie-in somewhere to end the story. If they don't, I'm gonna be highly upset. But I do believe usually Marvel does it where they tie everything. Will we like it? We'll see. We'll see what they do. You know what I'm saying? Because if they go the route that I thought of earlier with the whole everybody's in a mental hospital and everybody's every character is a different person in the mental hospital type of thing, which is something that they can do. That's a story that's in the comics. I don't know if people will like that. I'll like it, but I don't know if people will like that. It's like, yo, it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? But we don't know. We'll see how they're gonna tie everything in. I'm interested to see how they're doing it because, like you said, every episode seems to be ramping it up, picking up the speed, showing a little bit more more details, more action, more different characters involved. And then I think we're gonna figure out who Moonknight really is or what direction they're going with Moonknight in the MCU. How, if they are gonna connect them to anything, you know what I mean? That's why I mentioned Blade, because him and Blade work well together in the comics. You know, they're both into very mythical kind of situations with their stories. I would obviously love to see Moon Knight and Spider-Man. They have a lot of interactions in the comics. I even sent the picture of Arachnite to to Lou. That's the Fusion series where they fuse Spider-Man and Moon Knight.
It looks beautiful, by the way.
It's a great series. I would recommend
This
that to
just goes to show
anybody that reads comics. Arachnite, the Fusion series from Marvel Comics.
Well, this just goes to show how and why Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all time.
Why? Because he got the fusion.
He's just amazing.
He did. You're annoying.
You got that.
You're annoying. So let's end it with this. So far, halfway through the series, what do you rate the series so far?
So before I get my rating, I want to say I was gonna add, I don't know where this series goes when it ends, because Oscar Isaac's contract with this series is pretty much a one-off. He signed a contract. He's made this known very well in interviews that he's not obligated to be in other films. This was just a project that he wanted to do based off the script, and has no pretty much he has no ties with anything in the MCU. So if something comes about later on, he can always say, yeah, I'll do it. But he's not obligated to do anything other than Moon Knight. So the idea of it just being a one-off, but to help introduce something in the future of the MCU, I think is pretty cool. And although Moon Knight is not a famously known character for a lot of comic book, I guess, readers or people who enjoy comics, it's still a stepping stone and probably can do something to introduce something greater. So I think it's okay to accept what's coming. But for the first 3 episodes, as far as my Puti Fritos, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I think it has a lot of growing pains. There's not a lot explaining in the first 3 episodes. Like I said, if you're not interested anything outside the MCU, this is not going to gravitate you, and you're going to feel like you're lost throughout the entire film. But if you're interested in the character and you do your research and you learn a little bit more, it's intriguing, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
I agree. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I enjoy the character. I enjoy what they're doing with the character, even the minor changes that some people don't like. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I hope Oscar Isaac stays on as Moon Knight when they ask, because he's just such a good actor. But he's in so much different projects at the moment. But he's doing such a phenomenal job of selling. The only other person I've seen do split personalities better is one of the greatest movies of all time, Split, James McAvoy.
Oh yeah.
He's the only other person I've seen do multiple personalities well and believable.
So good.
Oscar Isaac, right? Oscar Isaac is doing a great job of making it believable that he's not who he is. Even like subtle things, like that one scene where, they're trying to do the whole star stuff to find the constellations and all that, where he switches. He walks away, he grabs like the little mirror. All right, you're up. The switch in personality just on his face alone was so believable. It's a beautiful thing to watch. I love watching when actors put on a clinic and he's doing so. I can't wait to see what they do. So that's it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed the back-to-back Puti reviews. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Yeah.
Go check out Moon Knight. Yeah. We'll be back for part 2. This is only part 1. We got 3 more episodes left, and we'll be back to get the last 3 out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys enjoyed the Puti review. If you haven't yet, like, share, subscribe it. All of our links will be in the description below. You guys know the vibes, baby. Hey, yeah.